Welcome back to the channel. This is No Luck Trucking. I'm Matt. It's been a little while since we have made a video. A couple days ago I just felt really bad. You could probably still hear a little bit of congestion. I thought it was sinuses or like allergies at first, but I don't know. I have no idea what it is. I know it's not COVID, which is good, but never ran a fever, just congested and stuffed up and stuff. But anyways, as the title says, we got hit with a $1,500 cargo claim. This was from a load that we ran 6 months ago for Georgia Pacific, out of Rincon, Georgia. And it was a preloaded trailer we picked up, and we were taking it up to Massachusetts to a Medline. So we took it up there. We got the paperwork back after they unloaded us, and it had a shortage. So we called the agent, you know, per our agreement and stuff, and went about our life. Never heard another thing about it until yesterday. We woke up to an email saying the cargo claim has assigned blame to us, and per our agreement with Landstar, we owed the first $2,000 of any cargo claim. So they're assessing, it was like $1,482 and some change, whatever. So whatever, we'll round it up to $1,500. Because there was no proof of the seal integrity, and Georgia Pacific was never alerted of the shortage, so it falls directly on us. I was like, that doesn't sound right. So I looked back in our emails, because I remember that specific load we called, but it was too early for their office hours, so we ended up emailing, which we then got a response back. We gave her the SKU number of what was missing, and then she said, yep, that's all I need. And that was it. So we thought we were done with the whole entire situation, because our freight bill agreement said if there's any overages, shortage, or damages, to let them know. We let them know. That was our thing. So we were pretty bummed out about it, because it was like, it was already set in stone. They were like, we're gonna start taking it out of your settlements, $150 at a time for the next like 10 weeks, basically. I was like, this doesn't seem right, because we did everything that we were supposed to contractually, because I looked back at our freight bill for that day as well. We followed everything to a T that we were responsible for contractually. So I was like, all right, we'll call the claims agent. So we called, and the lady's like, yeah, this happens all the time with Georgia Pacific. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, she's like, they file claims all the time, you know? I was like, yeah, but like, this doesn't happen to us all the time, you know, like we did what we were supposed to. And she's like, well, there's no proof that that you let Georgia Pacific know. I was like, well, that wasn't part of our agreement to let Georgia Pacific know. Our agreement was to let the agent know, which we did. And she's like, well, I mean, if you can provide some sort of proof on that, then we can assign blame to the agent. I was like, sure enough. So as I was on the phone with her, I had Liz forward the email over to the lady. But then she was just like, you know, this happens, you know, it's just one of those things. So I was like, this is $2 billion companies going back and forth over the most insignificant amount to you guys. But like, this is a pretty significant amount for us, especially in a market where, you know, you're not making what we normally make. So yeah, that kind of hurts. I was like, and how does this go 6 months and we were never even spoken to about this at all? Nobody ever asked what happened, if we have any proof otherwise. It was just like, all right, well, here you go. This is your payment. So then she still mentioned the seal integrity, and I'm like, well, we have the original set of bills still on the truck. So we pulled it up, and the seal number was blank. So they didn't provide a seal, and they didn't write a seal number in. So you can't have a seal integrity if you don't supply a seal. So I told her that, and part of the email had the bills that we sent to them. So I was like, yeah, please look this over, because this claims agent had already talked to the agency, and they didn't have any paperwork or any trail or any confirmation number that there was ever any interaction between us and them, or them and Georgia Pacific for a claim. So they didn't have any paperwork. So basically, we had to prove that we did what we were supposed to do. So she looks at the stuff, and she's like, well, I see you guys did what you were supposed to, but the seal's blank. She's like, you know, you didn't put a seal on? I was like, no, we put a Landstar seal on. She's like, well, you didn't write in the seal number. I'm like, right. So they signed the paperwork, and I signed the paperwork as is. I cannot add the seal number after the fact of a signed document that's a legally binding agreement. I can't add the seal number in afterwards, correct? She wanted to so badly to tell me to just write the seal number in next time, but you can't do that on a legally binding document, especially if they have the copies that don't have the seal number in that are signed the same. I mean, you can't do that. So we had our lock on, we had our Landstar seal on, everything, it was sealed up in our interest, but obviously they don't have a record of the seal number, and we can't prove it one way or the other, which it doesn't matter, because they can't prove that they gave us a seal because it was blank. So even if they have paperwork after the fact that has a seal number that was written in after I signed the bills. So I was like, obviously the seal integrity stuff, they chose not to seal it. You know, that's a moot point in my mind. She's like, well, yeah, you're right. They can't claim that we didn't have seal integrity if they didn't provide you a seal. And at that point, she was like, so far what I'm seeing is it's going to go on the agency, then not on you guys, because you at least did your part, which was to let them know, you know, overage, damage, shortage, and then they do the rest per our freight bill agreement. And she's like, yeah, normally Georgia Pacific's very specific on what your obligations are when you take the load. I'm like, well, they wouldn't be our obligations, they would be the ones for the agency, and then the agency would give us our obligations because they're brokering the load to us. So she looked over our original freight bill, looked at all the stipulations, and we fell within all of them. We did our part. So we're wrapping up this conversation. She's like, I'm gonna resubmit it, that we're disputing it, and currently I'm letting the agency know that it falls on them to prove otherwise. And wouldn't you know it, right after that, they magically found the number, the claim number that they submitted to Georgia Pacific on that date. So had I not called in, we would have just been charged. They would have magically have not found the paperwork. But once the obligation was put on the agency, they scrambled and found the paperwork. So it's looking like we're not going to get charged for it. But until we get that final written email saying that we're off the hook altogether, I'm still skeptical. So she was like, well, you know, give me about a week. And I'm like, well, in a week you're going to start charging us, so it's not going to matter anyways. So she sent an email to us stating they're putting a hold on all of that to continue the investigation, and that at this point in time we're not to be charged for this cargo claim. So it was a lot. This is the agency. This is a direct agent also, I might add. I don't think I want to muddy the waters yet until we're done with this, but they are the ones that they double booked a load and then canceled on us at the last second for whatever reason. And yeah, they've pulled some interesting stuff over the last couple months. And they are a pretty large agency. They do all the Georgia Pacific stuff, and I think Dollar General. So if anybody runs the Landstar board, you already know who it is. they have two different agency codes that are one letter apart. So yeah, the lady was just so nonchalant about this. She's like, yeah, it just happens. I'm like, it doesn't just happen. Like, you know, two companies that have like record breaking, you know, quarterly profits don't care about $1,500 in the grand scheme of things, but our business that, you know, we're doing what we can to make money and pay all of our bills and put some money aside and stuff, like a $1,500 hit, especially after we did everything that we were supposed to do, it didn't sit right. So my whole goal was we were not going to get charged for that. I didn't care if I had to go find the vice president of Landstar or this insurance company or the claims adjuster. I was talking to everybody that I could. Like, they were going to spend $1,500 in man hours talking to me before we just rolled over and paid it. So it's looking like we beat it, but like I said, until I see some final stuff from it, I don't know. It's wild. I knew that there was a certain amount that we were on the hook for with cargo claims, but I had no idea that it was $2,000. Maybe I did, but at the time, I don't know. Because I did read over the contract when we signed it originally with Landstar, but it's never been an issue. Even at Prime, I think we had like 2 or 3 claims, but they never amounted to anything to us. And also, it was a preloaded trailer. It's not like I can count the stuff. So it's weird how the truck driver gets blamed for certain things in the grand scheme of things completely out of your control. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm starting to feel a lot better. So hopefully in the next few days we can get back to making some videos. I wanted to make, you know, fairly daily stuff, but this sickness just put us down. And since Liz and I are married, you know, we get to share 50-50. So it sounds like she's getting the same stuff. So, you know, just gotta share the love, right? So thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.